Hello there, good people of the internet. This is Cliff Rohde, owner and chief executive goat of GoatCloud Communications. You can find us online at goatcloud.com. We are here today with a tutorial about both how to find a great WordPress plugin and a trick using Google that you can really apply to other activities other than just trying to find a plugin on WordPress. So let's get right into it. First up, you can see that we're on the WordPress.org website. Now, we are also logged into it. So we have a free account at WordPress.org and we're logged in. I would encourage you to get that same type of account. Obviously, it doesn't cost anything and it just allows you a little bit more functionality on the WordPress site. So I'm going to presume that you've done that already. Now what we want to do is find a terrific WordPress plugin. And so, of course, what we're going to do is first go to the plugin section of the WordPress.org site. We're going to go ahead and click right there on plugins. So we are on the plugins page, and as you can see right here, we have a really big section that allows us to search for plugins. Now, a word about WordPress search. If you use WordPress sites and whether you're developing them or whether you're just using them as a visitor, you probably know that the WordPress search, the built-in WordPress search, is really a pretty lousy function. And no offense to WordPress, WordPress is fantastic overall, but search is really lacking. Now, that being said, WordPress is not a search engine. It's a piece of software used to build websites. So that's okay, and there are ways around it, and we're going to show you a way around it right now. So let's say here that we want to do a search for a plugin that saves the entries of a common plugin for form submissions called Contact Form 7. Now, it's pretty reasonable to think that we might search for Contact Form 7. That's a free plugin, by the way. We don't use it a ton, but a lot of people do use this one. But what it doesn't do by default is save the entries for form submissions on the back end of your website. And that's usually a good thing to do because you don't want to lose any of those entries. So we might type in save entries. So it's a regular semantic search, right? This is what we want to do. This is what we want to find. And so we'll search the repository of plugins and see what it produces. So now we see here it offers a variety of plugins, and it's not clear at all that any of these, at least the first ones, kind of save entries, right? If you look at the titles of them, is this related to saving entries? It's really hard to know. And that is one of the problems with the WordPress search, is that it's unclear to my mind whether, depending on the search, it kind of gives you relevant answers. And so this is where a trick comes in that you can use to find fantastic WordPress plugins, but you can also use this, of course, on other searches that you might do throughout the internet. And that's where what we're going to do is rely on Google to help us out here. So let's remember that the search we did here is Contact Form 7 Save Entries. We're going to do that same search, but we're going to do it at a different place. But we don't have to really go anywhere. We just have to come up to the URL bar here and change it. And what we're going to do is we have set up our browser so that in the URL bar, Google is the default search engine. So we're just going to add the words site : and we're going to get rid of everything after plugins. And what that is saying is we're telling Google, I want you to look only in the site wordpress.org, and specifically in the subdirectory plugins, which is where one would find plugins. And we're going to search for, remember, it was Contact Form 7 Save Entries. And so now we have an actual Google search that we have entered in our URL bar, again, because Google is the default search engine for our browser, which happens to be Chrome right now. And then we will do this Google search and see what the results are. So we'll hit enter. And now this is giving us Google results. And we can see that some of these plugins, or these plugins I should say, are in a much better layout for us because it's the typical Google search result. And we can have some confidence, because Google is a darn good search engine, that these results have more meaning for us than um, the WordPress results in the WordPress search itself. And so I would hazard a guess and that any of these is going to be much more relevant more quickly in terms of the search results. And in fact, I can see here a couple of plugins that I've used in the past that come up right at the top: Advanced Contact Form 7, Contact Form 7 Database Add-on. And then, of course, what you want to do is go through your due diligence process again and check out these different plugins. We can open this up in a new tab and see what it says about this plugin. Does it actually save entries? And you can go through the plugins that way. So this is a shorthand way, again, to look at or to do a better search for plugins on WordPress using the Google search engine. And again, you can use this really on any kind of website. So as long as you put in here, like let's say you wanted to search, I don't know, the New York Times, and we just heard in the news that Cory Booker, and this will be dated for some other if people are looking at this later on, but Cory Booker just announced that he's going to be running for president. So we'll do New York Times, Cory Booker, and you'll see that the search results will come up for Cory Booker. In fact, look at that. The first one is the recent article where he announced his bid for president. So this trick of using cite : again, many people will know about this, but if you don't, it's a great little tool for searching a website, and often it is a much better search than you would ever get from the actual search function on the website itself. So, hope that helps. Have a good one. Thanks for listening.